Episode 12 of Successful Vaishnavas with Krishna conscious rapper Mikey J. Make your life successful with successfulvaishnavas.com, where we interview devotees who have done wonderful things, and we discuss how to be successful in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to Successful Vaishnavas. And I really mean, welcome back. I know it's been 2 whole months since I released an episode of Successful Vaishnavas. And for that, I apologize. I really want to make this podcast a lot more regular. My goal is once a week. So let's see, with your blessings, if we can do it every week from now on. So, today we've got a really interesting interview with a Hare Krishna rapper by the name of Mikey J. I'll tell you a little bit more about his story in a moment. First, I thought I'd just give a little bit of background about what I've been up to. Yes, 2 months. So, what have I been up to in this time? Well, quite a bit of the time I've been dealing with other businesses that I'm involved in, some real estate business that I have, and doing the annual accounts and things like that. One thing which is interesting is I've been working on a Kindle book. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, or you've been on my email list, you know that I had a plan to publish our book on Amazon Kindle. Well, I have released a book on Amazon Kindle. This is not really a Krishna conscious book as such. It's just a fun children's story, and it's my way of learning the process and testing it out before I put something online, before I put something up in the Kindle store, which is, what would we say, something which I want to represent me, which I want to take extra care that it's done really professionally. But anyway, I'll let you know more about this book project because I'd love to share it with you, see what you think. It's an idea I was working with my son, and then one of the devotees that I know suggested that her mother do the illustrations. So as I say, I'll let you know more about this book in our next episode, if not before. But in the meantime, I'll just let you know that's one thing that I've been working on, which has been very interesting. It takes longer than I expected, and it's like that with a lot of things. One of those things is the what I'll be calling the Mayapur Success Formula online course, which I've been talking about for a while and still not released. And this is probably the main reason why I haven't released the podcast, because, yeah, I guess you could say I feel a bit embarrassed that I've been talking up this course and I still haven't produced it. So I kept on telling myself, produce the course, make it available, and then you can tell everyone on the podcast. And even though I spoke about this idea being silly on a previous podcast, every time I tried to get it just to a basic level, I found that I was having difficulties. Just recently, I was trying to edit my website, and the editing software didn't work. So I had to basically copy my whole website back and rebuild the whole thing, just in order to set up the membership area. So I am working on that. Can't promise when it will be released, but it's definitely on the top of my priority list. So yeah, that's something that I've been working on. The Kindle book and the membership site. It's been a while since I shared the statistics of Successful Vaishnavas. So for any of you that are into numbers, I thought I'd just share with you. Our Facebook page is getting very close to 1,000 likes, which is really exciting. We've got 920 likes right at the moment. There are 410 subscribers on the email list. On YouTube, we've got 77 subscribers. And again, we're getting very close to 10,000 views. We've had 9,621 views on our YouTube channel, which is really cool. And and the podcast has been downloaded 1,800 times. So that's really encouraging when I look at that and remind myself that actually I should keep on putting out this content because people are actually taking an interest in it. And rather than thinking selfishly about how I feel about things that I've achieved or not, this is something that people are showing interest in, and it's my duty to provide it. One thing which I can share, which may be of interest to anyone who's looking to use YouTube or Facebook or any of these other methods, podcasting, I can definitely see in this last 2 months when I haven't released new content, it's definitely slowed down the number of people who have subscribed. It's not surprising, but I've definitely noticed that even within a week of not releasing a podcast, the amount of activity around the videos and Facebook and things like that has gone down. And I also did an experiment this last week with Facebook where I scheduled to release about 3 updates a day, and I did that consistently over 2 or 3 days, which is more than I normally do. I normally just sort of post things here and there a little bit randomly, but I actually posted 3 posts a day, and in addition to that, I also released a post once an hour for 7 hours, or maybe it was every half an hour. Basically, it was releasing one status update for each of the letters in the word Maipo, which is related to this course that I'm releasing. And it was interesting that, as I say, the more activity that is put out, the more response that's come. And it was really interesting to watch that as I put more posts up on Facebook, the amount of interaction increased a lot, and more people liked the page and so on. I'm not sure if it's part of Facebook's formula, but it seems that the more active you are, the more that Facebook rewards you by showing your posts to the people in Facebook. So anyway, someone might find that interesting if they're looking to promote themselves on Facebook or any of these other social media sites. All right, well, that's enough about me and my trials and tribulations for now. Let's get into this interview. So basically what happened was I was searching on Facebook. Well, I just happened to be on Facebook, and I came across this status update by Mikey J, who had become friends with at some stage. And he has a Kickstarter project, which is it's like a fundraising website, Kickstarter, where people put up a project that they think will be a good idea, and then they ask people to give money, and in return for giving the money, they get certain rewards. And if enough people support the project so that it reaches its goal of a certain amount of money raised, then the project goes ahead. And if it doesn't reach the goal, then the people that have made those pledges on that website, they don't have to pay the money. It's only if it reaches the goal. So it's a way of, if people have an idea, they can put it out there and see if there's enough interest to make it worthwhile. So this devotee has a Kickstarter project where he is creating an album, a hip-hop based album, and the whole content is around the Ishopanishad. So you could call it like the hip-hop version of the Ishopanishad, very much based on the way Prabhupada was presenting it. So I looked at it and thought, wow, this is such a cool project. And there are a couple of videos up there that he's shared, some of his recent raps, and the videos are really professional, and the lyrics are really cool. I just loved it, because as you know, I have a little soft spot for rap, because I dabble in it myself, and I just thought it was a really cool thing that he's doing, and it's a way of presenting Krishna conscious philosophy without watering it down in any way, but packaging it in a way that the mass of people would find attractive, as well as, people that are already in Krishna consciousness can listen to that music and get inspired and reminded of the important messages of our scriptures. So that's basically the background of how I came across Mikey J. I immediately Facebook messaged him And he said, sure, let's get on Skype and have a chat. So I was able to chat with him. He's actually living in Mexico in a sustainable village, like permaculture farm. And he's dedicated himself to creating this album down in Mexico. So the internet connection is not great there. It's a satellite connection, so the quality is not perfect. It does cut in and out sometimes, but I'm sure you'll be able to understand it, and I'm sure you'll be inspired by what this wonderful devotee, Mikey J, is up to. And hopefully it'll inspire you to also do something that can help to spread Krishna consciousness and inspire others. So without more from me, here is the famous, soon to be famous, Hare Krishna rapper, Mikey J.
Responsibility comes with human life. We have the ability to reduce strife, offer everything up to the one most high, then distribute the mercy far and wide. Responsibility.
All right, everybody, I am very excited today to be interviewing the famous Mikey J, who is, as you'll get to find out, is one of the world famous, well, soon to be world famous rappers within ISKCON. And as you know, I have a fondness for rap, having dabbled in it a little bit myself. And so I was basically just on Facebook, and I came across a post where Mikey J is running a quick Kickstarter project, which is basically he's got an idea to create an album and he's inviting people to help him with it. So I had a look and watched some of the rap videos, and I thought it was really far out. So I immediately sent a personal message to him, and I've got him on Skype right now, all the way from Mexico, through satellite internet. Amazing technology happening here. And he's on the other side of this call, and he's willing to answer some questions. So Mikey J, welcome to Successful Vaishnavas, and it's a privilege to have you on board.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, great. I've literally just found out about you on Facebook. I really like what I see, but I don't know a lot about you. I've noticed that you are living in Mexico, and that in itself is a really interesting thing. Could you give us a little bit of a background about how you ended up in Mexico, a little bit about your music and, you know, what you've been up to?
Sure. So I've been making the music now for a little while. Well, taking it more seriously for the last 2 years or so. And I really needed a place that I could really focus on it, a bit more quiet. And I have some friends here in Mexico. They're building like a small self-sufficient farm, basically, really into their permaculture. And Mexico being quite a cheap country, it gave an opportunity for me to really be able to focus on the music without the distraction, of having to work a job full time or like that. So it gave me that opportunity. So that's why I came over here to Mexico. And so now I started on the Sri Upanishad album. I was making, as you may have seen on my website, I made quite a few songs before touching on different subjects, but I really wanted to make something that would be more long lasting, something that would also help in spreading the movement, Krishna consciousness. So I decided, why not make a full album for Sri Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita, the 700 verses seemed a bit overwhelming for me, to be honest. So Sri Upanishad it was.
Yeah, what a great idea. Yeah, I saw that. I was just having a quick look through your Facebook timeline and looking at what you've done. And it seems that you have created a few raps, so you've definitely had some experience. What's your background? Do you have a background in music or anything like that before you got involved in Krishna consciousness?
Well, I used to, as a teenager, I used to like to do freestyle rapping a lot, that kind of thing. Just messing around, different parties, that kind of thing. Just on random topics, not very spiritually uplifting, to be honest. But I got a little more serious in university. I started to write poetry, and I entered a few competitions. And I was always more about the lyricism than the music side of things. But obviously, if I was going to present it in a presentable way, I needed to get into the music. So I started getting into production a little bit. And then I took a little bit of a detour. I ended up going to India for a little while. That's where I started to get into Krishna consciousness and my spiritual life in general. And when I came back from India, that was in 2011. And I thought I really want to use what I had learned music-wise to help spread Krishna consciousness. So that's really from there, I just really got deep into the production side of things and video editing especially, because I think these days video is such an important medium, at least in the music industry. And it just developed it from there, really.
Yeah, I've had a look at some of your videos, and the first video I saw, I think it's called Complete. Is that the title?
Yeah, Complete, for the Ishopanishad invocation, right?
Yeah.
Missing fish out of water, because we know we ought to be swimming in love. We're all sons and daughters.
So I actually saw that a month or so back, and when I looked at it again today, I remembered it, and I love the way that you put those videos together. It really captures your attention, and I found it really engaging. And you've used a few different styles in your videos, which I like as well, like the one where you do the handwriting, and then all different kinds of things. So I really recommend whoever's listening to go and check it out, because it's really cool the way you've put it together. I think a lot of people will enjoy watching the videos that you've made.
I hope so.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that you're putting that talent to work. You said that it's interesting because you said that you were attracted by the lyrics initially, but then you realized that in order for people to be really attracted, you needed to package it, so to speak, with the music and the videos.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a great job from what I've seen. Yeah, very inspiring. I guess it's something for all of us to think of as well, that, we've got different ideas, but in order to get the message across, we have to package it so that people will be interested and attracted to it. Absolutely.
I think it's very true. It's often like Srila Prabhupada would say that you put old wine in new bottles like that. It's in this generation, or at least the modern age we live in at the moment, people are a lot more attracted by, let's say, like flashy packaging, let's say. So if we can give something with substance with that kind of thing, then we can do a nice job for the movement, I think.
Yeah, that's great. I really like the way you've taken initiative to do it as well. Like, a lot of people have some ideas, but to actually take the courage and the energy to put it all together the way you've done is great. And even the fact that you've gone all the way to Mexico, that itself takes quite a lot of initiative.
I don't know. I guess I feel, because I'm 27 at the moment. I'm not married or like that, so I feel like I've got the opportunity to do it now. If I do it now, it's like now or never kind of thing. I can put the energy in now. But even if someone's not in that situation, I think we can find ways in our day-to-day life. So if we've got these ideas to do things, maybe even if it's more gradually, smaller steps, but to start putting these ideas into place, and somehow or other they'll come together.
Right, carpe diem, just take the chance, however small it might be.
Yeah. So you never know what might come of it. No, I was just going to say, you never know what might come of it. Like when I was first starting to make the music videos, I just thought, I'll see where it goes, maybe nothing will come of it, but I'll just give it a go. And then I found that the more I was doing it, the more inspiration I would receive to do further projects. And that's what led to the Sri Upanishad project. It was it was kind of just a random song when I did the invocation. I just thought, let me just play around with the invocation. And it became the video you were talking about earlier. And from there, I thought, why not do the full album? And now we're getting a lot of nice messages from devotees, really encouraging. And there's going to be some more devotees on the album we're going to collaborate with. And I couldn't have imagined that when I started, it's just planting little seeds early on. And it's slowly built to where it is now, and hopefully it'll go further. That's the hope.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I like the way that you're, you started out with an idea and now it's involving other devotees, and it's so much sweeter when you are able to work with others. And yeah, it's interesting how you just start and then it develops like that.
Oh, absolutely. You never know where it might lead.
Totally, yeah. I'm just curious myself to know, what's the process like? Like you said, you were just playing around with the invocation. When you want to create a rap, what's the kind of process that you go through? Do you just start with a line and then you just keep going, or what? How does it work for you?
It really, I know you probably heard this answer a million times when looking at different musicians, but it really is different for every project. Sometimes I'll just have freestyle in my head. Maybe I'll have discussed some philosophy or with some devotees, or have just read something, and I'll just start playing around with the idea and write lyrics. And sometimes I'll hear just a little bit of music, maybe even just a loop, and I'll get a certain mood from it, and then it'll develop from there. Sometimes a song will just come out in one shot, and sometimes I end up going back for days and days, editing different parts, going, oh, that's not tight enough, that's not good enough. So it really is quite an organic process.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that, because I've had that experience myself. Sometimes, Krishna just gives some inspiration and it seems to just flow. And then other times you might get a little bit, and then, I started a rap back in about 1995, and I wrote one that just went right through. And then I had this other one where I just started and I got a few lines, and it was a great start. And to this day, I haven't finished that one. So I think Krishna's got a bit of a hand in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I got quite a few on the back burner too. I think it just works out like that. You say you have some raps too?
Yeah, there's one rap which I have I released it? Maybe I've put it on SoundCloud, which is the Ajamil rap. It's basically telling the story of Ajamil.
Okay.
And that's and that's a fun one, which I usually these days I more or less perform it once a year around about New Year's or Christmas, when there's some sort of devotee gathering. And when I do it live, I usually find it's best just without any music, because then I can improvise and really pause and things. But I also wrote another poem or rap recently, which is called Do What You Love for Lord Chaitanya, Stand and Serve. And that one is basically kind of like a theme song for the Successful Vaishnavas project, which is for people to do like what you're doing, is take some initiative and try to do something. Use your talents that you've got to serve Krishna, basically. Each one of us has got some sort of talent, and we need to do our best to use it in a positive way. And that's why, having done rap myself, and then with this message, seeing your example is really inspiring for me.
Glad to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. I know that it's getting a bit late where you are. In fact, I can hear, sounds like some birds chirping in the background, or is it crickets or something?
Oh, is that? Yeah, crickets. I'm just outside, you see, because
right.
Inside, the body sleep there. So
yeah.
It's not too loud, is it? It's interfering.
No, it's fine. It's quite ambient,
Oh, it's okay.
It's you said you're living on a farm, like a permaculture place, so it fits in with that kind of mood.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you up too late at night, because obviously it is nighttime. I just wondered if you could tell us a bit about this Kickstarter project, or about the whole project, and how the Kickstarter program works, and if anyone's interested, how they could get involved in it.
Yeah, sure. So the Kickstarter, the Kickstarter itself has a program. I think it's really cool it helps like communities come together to fund a project that they like. So let's say with a musician, if their fans of the music really want to see a project come into being, then they can all get involved in funding it early on, and then there's benefits from being a part of that process. So maybe they'll get extra songs or a full album, like a physical album, and so on. And one of the things I like about the Kickstarter platform is that it's like an all or nothing kind of way of doing things. So you have a certain goal. You're looking for a certain amount of money, Lakshmi, to help your project go onwards. And if you don't reach that goal, and let's say the project's unable to go on, then no one loses anything. No one pays any money for the donation. Well, it's not donation actually. You get rewards for. It's called backing. They use as backing a project.
Right.
And
so it's a way of testing
through,
out an idea to see if there's enough support, and when enough people support it, then it actually happens.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically you can back the project for the amount that you would like to back, and then there's different rewards. So in my project, for example, there's some extra bonus tracks for, like, let's say a lower end reward, a lower tier reward, and then a higher tier reward, for example, would be funding a video itself. You can choose which song would have a video and get full. You'll like be included as part of the process of making the video. A message at the end saying this devotee has helped fund this video, like that. So it's a way to get involved with the project, really. Like my plan, I intend to make the album either way, even if I don't reach my goals. Though obviously it will help a lot to reach the goals. But this will help with the video production and like that, mainly, and also bring the audio production up to a higher level. So we're hoping we can raise the needed funds so that we can just make it that much better. Like we were talking about packaging earlier, make it that much of a better project, less amateur, more professional looking project. To help spread Srila Upanishad, really.
Yeah, so that it can have a bigger impact, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm just on the Kickstarter website at the moment, and so far you've had 13 backers and raised £500, and you have a goal of £4,000.
Yeah.
And how long have you got to go? You got how many more days?
13 days, I think. 13 days.
13 days to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening to this podcast now, hopefully it's before September 5. That's when it finishes, right? That's the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, go and check it out, because you can support a really far-out project, and you get something in return. I'll just have a quick look, because I'm on the site right now. I can just mention, if you've only got £1 to spare, that's something that you can give, and your name will be listed on the website as a supporter. So there's quite a lot of different options, but I'll just mention a few of the things that you could get if you sign up. If you give £15 or more, then you can get a special edition Isha Upanishad t-shirt that goes along with the album, as well as the digital downloads. If you pledge £30 or more, then you get a t-shirt, a special limited edition CD, and you also get a thank you video made by the famous Mikey J himself. And then there's also a higher level of pledges as well, like if you would like, where was the one I wanted to see? There was one about touring. Yeah, if you pledge 500. Yeah, maybe you could explain that one, how that one works.
Sure. Well, the prize itself, or the reward itself, is for a free performance, basically, free concert. However, the person might like to have it, we can discuss online and like that. Because I'm planning to go to Europe, back to Europe, once the album's going on. I've been rehearsing. Part of what I've been doing here as well, aside from working on the music, is working on the live performance too. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to travel through Europe, hopefully by bike. I'd like to keep it as eco-friendly as possible. Visit many of the Vaishnava communities around Europe. Obviously, it'd be nice to meet the devotees. Different devotees have nice association and like that. And at the same time, on that path, to promote the music. So do maybe street performances. If I can build nice performances, maybe in yoga studios or other places. I'll look into the options, speak to some people, and hopefully that'll take place next year. And so along the way, if I'm in an area where a backer lives, then they can have a free concert, whether it's in their house, they arrange something somewhere like that. And maybe in the future we'll be able to do some other countries too, like the US and maybe even New Zealand.
Yeah, so that's just one of the options. If you basically if you pledge £500 or more, then you can have your own concert. Far out. So there's different options. If you go to the Kickstarter website, you can have a look there and see if there's anything there that might inspire you. And even if you can only just chip in £1, it all helps, and helps to build a community of people that are behind this project and making it happen. So yeah, it's been great talking to you, Mikey J. So obviously it sounds like your plans are quite focused on this album over the next year or two. Have you got anything else lined up?
Well, for the next few months, I'll definitely just be focused full time on this Ishopanishad album. Because obviously 19 songs, and I want to bring it as to a high level as I possibly can, And obviously working with other devotees too takes a bit of coordination. And then after that, we'll see how things go with the Kickstarter. But if I'm successful in the Kickstarter, then I plan to spend the next 6 months after that or so focusing fully on the video production. So hopefully we'll be able to have a nice series of nice high quality music videos for the album. And then, as I was mentioning, after that, hopefully do a tour and both to meet devotees, but also I'd like to combine it maybe even with Sankirtan to help distribute Ishopanishad, the book, with the album. We'll see.
Ah, nice. That's
they say
cool.
Krishna laughs when you make plans,
Yeah, well, it's great. It's really great. The way that you're thinking and how you're involving different devotees in it. I think it's a fantastic project. I just thought, before we sign off, what advice have you got for someone who may have some, creativity or some ideas, for spreading Krishna consciousness, or some talents? What would your advice be to them?
I would say certainly write down your thoughts. So obviously it could be in any field, like we're talking about music specifically, but it could be video, it could be anything really. The world's your oyster. But write them down and think them through, and think how it could be possible. Think of like the most perfect situation. Obviously we know nothing's perfect in the material world, but think of the most perfect situation it would be if you could have your projects just go with no hitches whatsoever, and how you would get there. Like kind of work backwards, how can I go from where I am in this situation to reach that goal? And it may seem like it's really far away, but once you break it down into different steps, and then once you've broken it down into the steps, just really make that effort. Even if, like we were saying earlier, even if it's just a little small amount each day, or if you got time, you can put even more energy into it. Just to start taking those steps to make it happen. Because like you say, often I've had this experience myself, we have many ideas to spread Krishna consciousness and do different things, but we don't always act on it. And so those ideas remain just that, ideas. But if we just do a little bit, it's amazing how Krishna reciprocates and helps these projects actually come into the world. and it's very blissful to be a part of that process too.
Great. So just to recap, what I picked up from you there is that if we have some ideas, to record it in some way by writing it or whatever, and then to think about what's possible from that idea, and then actually do something, even if it's something small. Just take a step, and then another step, and then Krishna will help you out.
Yeah, maybe you'll learn, even if it's not successful, you'll certainly learn something about yourself along the way from trying it out. Maybe learn why it's not meant to be, you could say.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually, that like in Successful Vaishnavas, I highlight people that are doing things, but actually a big part of it is by doing these things, it helps us to become more Krishna conscious. That's ultimately our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it really, and it revives that relationship, doesn't it? Because you put in our trust. Okay, is this the right direction, Krishna, you want me to go in?
Yeah, true. Yeah, all kinds of realizations, but it requires a few steps. Like they say, if you take one step to Krishna, he takes 10 steps towards you. And it sounds like you've been experiencing that kind of reciprocation in this project.
Yeah, certainly. Just the feedback of devotees and like that, who really feel inspired by it. I didn't think it would be as well received as it was. I didn't know really, I was just kind of hoping. But really, I can see that it can be very inspirational for people. So I hope we'll be successful in getting the project going nicely.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will be, because I can see the amount of talent that you have, and the response that I've seen from just a few people so far. Hopefully the word will spread quickly, and you'll get more and more support to do what I think is a really far-out project. So I won't hold you up any later, but I thought we'd just I'm going to have show notes on my website, which will give your website and Facebook details and the Kickstarter link and everything. But maybe those people that are out walking and not at their computer, maybe you could just let them know how they can get in touch with you. What's your website address and things like that?
Sure. Yeah, so my website address is www.mikeyj108.org. So it's Mikey, Mikey, Jay.org. And on that website, you can find many of the music videos, songs, and there'll be more. We're going to update that a lot as time goes on. And on the top of that website, there is a link to my Facebook. So you can click on the link to my Facebook through that website. You can contact. There's a contact form on that page too, so you can email me or you can message me through Facebook, no problem. I usually, although our internet's satellite internet, so it's not always the best. I usually reply within a couple of days to any messages. It's always nice to hear from devotees, especially devotees,
Nice. Yeah, well, that's great. So once again, I encourage anyone who's listening to have a look at what Mikey J is doing and to support this Kickstarter project. The deadline for this actual Kickstarter project is the 5th of September, so I'm going to upload this recording as soon as possible and let people know about it. You can find out more details on successfulvaishnavas.com/Mikey J, and then on that page it will give the Kickstarter link and everything like that as well, so that you can find out more. So yeah, thanks a lot, Mikey J. I look forward to getting in touch with you again and hearing about your success as you continue with this really far-out project.
Jai, thank you for taking the time to do the interview and like that. Really appreciate it. It's very, very nice speaking with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We have
Hare
the
Krishna.
ability to reduce strife, offer everything up to the one most high, then distribute the mercy far and wide. Responsibility comes with human life. We have the ability to reduce strife, offer everything up to the one most high, then distribute the mercy far and wide, far and wide, far and wide, far and wide, far and wide. Ishavashyamidam sarvam yakincha jagajam jagat tena jaktena bunjita magrita kasya siddhanam. Ishavashyamidam sarvam yakincha jagajam jagat tena jaktena bunjita magrita kasya siddhanam.
Thanks for listening. To find out more, go to successfulvaishnavas.com.
Whatever little service that anyone can do for Krishna is to be appreciated and celebrated.
Just give this life to Krishna.
We know that they have much more potential than they're presently using.
I went to a place of relishing the activity and letting go of the result completely.
You just associate with pure devotees. Then you shall be able to cross over the ocean of nescience.